We were all surprised that a female godmother was responsible for this much violence, could be this evil.
What do a billionaire drug lord, a female assassin queen, and a Harvard-educated mathematician have in common? Death, fear, and absolute chaos.
I'm just being me.
Imagine building an empire so brutal it drowns a nation in blood, or masterminding smuggling routes across continents while casually ordering executions, or retreating into the mountains, plotting a deadly bombing campaign that terrorized a country for decades. Brace yourself as we uncover the twisted minds behind the most notorious criminals explained. Part 2. What if the world's most dangerous man wasn't a general or a dictator, but a drug lord? In the 1980s, Pablo Escobar wasn't just a name. He was a force of terror, a shadow looming over Colombia. He transformed Medellin into the epicenter of a global drug war and built a cocaine empire that supplied 80% of the world's market. Born in 1949, Escobar rose from petty crime to founding the notorious Medellin cartel. At its peak, the cartel smuggled up to 3 tons of cocaine into the U.S. every day. By his mid-30s, he was worth over $30 billion, landing him on Forbes' list of richest people. But his fortune came soaked in blood.
Pablo Escobar is also accused of the November 27th bombing of a Colombian jetliner just outside Bogota. That killed all 107 people on board.
Escobar unleashed car bombs, assassinations, and a reign of terror that claimed thousands of lives. He even kept a private zoo with hippos that still roam Colombia today. As authorities closed in, he offered to pay Colombia's national debt for immunity. They refused. In 1993, after years of manhunts and violence, Escobar was gunned down on a Medellin rooftop.
News spreads around the world, Escobar has been killed.
His legacy? A trail of destruction, a nation scarred, and a lesson in how absolute power, when built on blood and cocaine, never ends quietly. What if your neighbor was America's most feared mob boss, and everyone loved him for it?
The best man for me.
A marvelous smile on his face. He's always been a very respectable person in the community.
That was John Gotti, the swaggering kingpin who ruled the Gambino crime family with charm, ruthlessness, and $3,000 suits. Born on October 27, 1940 in the South Bronx, Gotti rose through mafia ranks the old-school way, through hits, hijackings, and loyalty. By 1985, after orchestrating the assassination of boss Paul Castellano, with his mentor Agnello Della Croce's support, Gotti took the throne of America's most powerful crime family. His look? Slicked back hair, tailored suits, and an ever-present grin that defied authority. But it wasn't just his violence that made headlines. It was his ability to dodge convictions. 3 high-profile trials ended in acquittals, thanks to jury tampering and intimidation. The press dubbed him the Teflon Don. Yet in 1992, betrayal brought it all crashing down. Underboss Sammy the Bull Gravano turned state's evidence after hearing wiretaps where Gotti insulted him. Convicted of murder and racketeering, Gotti received life without parole. He died of throat cancer on June 10, 2002, at a federal prison hospital in Missouri. He lived loud, ruled hard, and fell like a king stripped of his crown. How does one man become Boston's most feared mob boss and an FBI informant at the same time? James Whitey Bulier lived that double life. He was ruthless on the streets, yet protected by the very system meant to stop him. Born in 1929, Bulier came up in South Boston's roughest neighborhoods, eventually leading the Winter Hill Gang. He was feared for his violence. Drug deals, extortion, and murder were his tools. But from 1975 to 1990, he played a dangerous game. He was secretly feeding the FBI intel on rival Italian mobsters. That protection let him operate with impunity. When a federal indictment came down in 1994, a corrupt FBI agent tipped him off, and Bulier vanished.
This is an announcement by the FBI.
For 16 years, he lived under fake names, hiding in plain sight. In 2011, he was finally captured in Santa Monica. At trial, he was convicted of 11 murders, though linked to many more. He received 2 life sentences, but prison didn't save him. In 2018, just hours after arriving at a new prison, Bulier was beaten to death by inmates. A brutal end for a man who once controlled the streets and manipulated the system that should have stopped him.
I was surprised that it was a woman. Hard to fathom.
What if the most dangerous figure in the drug trade wasn't a king, but a queen? Griselda Blanco, known as the Black Widow, wasn't just ruthless, she was revolutionary. Born in 1943 in Colombia, Blanco climbed to the top of the U.S. cocaine market in the 70s and 80s. She pioneered inventive smuggling techniques, like using lingerie with secret compartments, and moved $80 million worth of cocaine monthly through cities like Miami, New York, and Los Angeles. But her power came at a deadly cost. Blanco left behind a trail of bodies, rivals, lovers, even innocent bystanders. She's suspected of ordering over 250 killings. Her own husbands weren't safe. She allegedly had all 3 murdered, solidifying her reputation as a lethal matriarch in the male-dominated world of narco-trafficking.
We were all surprised that a female godmother was responsible for this much violence, could be this evil.
In 1985, she was finally arrested and served nearly 20 years in U.S. prisons. After being deported to Colombia in 2004, she kept a low profile until karma came calling. In 2012, as she left a butcher shop in Medellin, assassins on motorcycles gunned her down in a hit style she once made infamous. Blanco didn't just play the game, she changed its rules and paid the price in blood. What if a criminal could vanish from sight, but still run a global empire from the shadows?
Dawood Ibrahim, India's most wanted criminal, is a rarely seen phantom.
Dawood Ibrahim is India's most wanted man, yet no one can find him. His reach spans continents, from Mumbai's streets to terror networks abroad. Born in 1955, Dawood started out as a small-time thief in Mumbai before forming D Company in the late 70s. By the 90s, it had become a massive crime syndicate, smuggling drugs and weapons, laundering money, and running extortion rackets. But his legacy turned truly dark in 1993. That year, Dawood orchestrated a series of coordinated bombings in Mumbai, killing 257 people, a brutal retaliation for Hindu-Muslim riots following the Babri Masjid demolition. The attack made him India's public enemy #1. He fled, first to Dubai, then reportedly to Pakistan. Despite international sanctions and being labeled a global terrorist, Dawood has evaded capture for decades. Authorities believe he funds terrorism, circulates fake currency in India, and continues to smuggle drugs. His exact location? Still unknown. Some say Karachi, others claim he's long gone. But one thing is certain. His legacy of fear still echoes, and his name remains a ghost that haunts India's most painful wound. What would drive a soldier to declare war on his own country? On April 19, 1995, Timothy McVey parked a Ryder truck outside the Oklahoma City Federal Building and lit the fuse on the deadliest act of domestic terrorism in U.S. history. The blast killed 168 people, including 19 children, and injured nearly 700 others. McVey, a Gulf War veteran, saw himself as a patriot turned avenger. Fueled by outrage over Waco and Ruby Ridge, he believed he was striking back against government tyranny. Just 90 minutes after the bombing, he was pulled over for driving without plates. Police found a concealed gun and soon realized who he really was. In court, McVey showed no remorse. He called the victims collateral damage.
And let me make clear, I'm not sitting here trying to influence you, and I'm not putting on a game face. I'm not conning anybody. I'm just being me.
In 2001, he was executed by lethal injection at just 33 years old. His attack didn't spark a revolution. It left a nation stunned, grieving, and forever changed. McVey's legacy is a chilling reminder that terrorism doesn't always come from abroad. Sometimes it grows quietly, within. What if a Harvard genius decided the modern world was the real enemy? Ted Kazinski, better known as the Unabomber, waged a one-man war against technology, armed with homemade bombs and a manifesto. A prodigy turned recluse, Kazinski abandoned his academic future and disappeared into a tiny Montana cabin with no electricity or running water. From 1978 to 1995, he mailed bombs across the country, targeting professors, airline execs, and computer scientists. 3 people died, 23 were injured. He signed his bombs FC for Freedom Club, claiming to fight the dehumanizing effects of industrial society. For years, the FBI couldn't crack the case. The breakthrough came in 1995, when newspapers published his 35,000-word manifesto. His brother recognized the writing and turned him in. Captured in 1996, Kazinski was sentenced to life without parole. Diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, he never apologized. In 2023, he died by suicide in prison at age 81. The Unabomber wasn't just a killer. He was a cautionary tale of brilliance warped by isolation and obsession. What if the American Mafia wasn't just born, but engineered by one man?
Lucky Luciano was the father of organized crime here in America.
Charles Lucky Luciano didn't just play the game, he rewrote the rules. Born in Sicily in 1897 and raised on New York's gritty streets, Luciano climbed from teenage thug to kingpin. But it wasn't brute force that set him apart, it was vision. In 1931, after eliminating rival bosses during the Castellammarise War, he unified warring mafia families under the Commission, a corporate-style governing body that turned chaos into organized power. Luciano made millions through bootlegging, gambling, and racketeering. But in 1936, his empire cracked when he was convicted for running a prostitution racket and sentenced to 30 to 50 years. Even behind bars, his influence endured. During World War II, Luciano allegedly helped the U.S. Navy secure New York ports and aided the Allied invasion of Sicily, earning him a commuted sentence and deportation to Italy in 1946. He died in Naples in 1962 of a heart attack while discussing a film about his life. Still respected, still feared. Lucky didn't just survive the mob world, he built it. What if the next drug lord wasn't a cartel soldier, but a software developer? Paul Laroo was a quiet coder from South Africa who created one of the most complex criminal empires of the 21st century, all from behind a computer. In the early 2000s, Laroo launched RX Limited, an online pharmacy that shipped millions of prescription pills during the height of the opioid crisis. It made him a fortune, but that was just the beginning. With that money, he built a dark empire, smuggling meth from North Korea, selling weapons to Iran, ordering hits on rivals and employees alike.
So he combined the dark world of crime with the new world of technology. So he has brought crime to the new frontier.
He used encrypted servers, fake passports, and burner phones to stay invisible. But in 2012, a fake drug deal in Liberia set him up for a DEA sting.
We have to carry him down.
He was arrested and flipped, cooperating with U.S. agents to dismantle his own empire. In 2020, Laroo was sentenced to 25 years in prison. A tech genius turned underworld mastermind, he redefined what crime looked like in the digital age, proof that sometimes the most dangerous criminal doesn't carry a gun, but a keyboard. From empires built on bloodshed to ideologies fueled by delusion, these criminals reshape the world in horrifying ways. Their legacies are not just tales of violence, they're chilling blueprints of how power, greed, and genius can spiral into devastation. Which of their stories shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another deep dive into darkness. The line between brilliance and madness has never been thinner, and we're just getting started.